Hey guys, Nate Latimer here. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Big Data Show. Super excited about today's guest. We have the queen of LinkedIn. She just moved to Orlando a week ago from Miami. Took a little hiatus, but she's back in the game. She's done amazing work for big names like Grant Cardone, like Dan Locke. I mean, she's just the before and after pictures that you see whenever you work with her profile, like optimization skills when it comes to LinkedIn, branding, storytelling. She's phenomenal, an anomaly. So thank you so much for being here today, Shay Rowbottom.
Thank you, Nate. Yeah, that was a beautiful intro, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So Shay, give us your backstory. Tell us about, who you are as a person, where you're from. Let's get to know you first, and then let's dive in a little bit into, how you started getting involved with LinkedIn.
Yeah. Well, I'm from Wisconsin, which I'm very proud of, my Wisconsin heritage, if you will. So I'm always repping Wisconsin. But yeah, I grew up in Milwaukee, born and raised, really stayed there my whole life. I had a brief stint in Madison, Wisconsin, tried the college thing. Didn't work out. Great college town there, though, in UW-Madison.
What were you studying?
Art. So it was absolutely pointless. To me, it was not the path. I think, I was just trying to find myself. Eventually got into music. Because of the music, I learned how to edit video. And then once I realized the opportunity to make money online through video editing, that's really the path that led me to marketing, branding, storytelling. And I had a company in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, where I'm from, that was a video editing company. I worked with large blogs on Facebook, and it was a really cool opportunity to learn through my clients how to grow a blog, how to go viral, how to write articles, storytelling, monetizing. And then after a few years, I found LinkedIn. Turned the camera back around on myself, started doing my own videos on LinkedIn.
Yeah, when they started allowing
it was just video. I was
yeah.
one of the first ones. That's why it was such a right place at the right time.
It was clutch.
Yep. And then sold the shares in that company, got out, and moved to Miami.
So I'm just interested. So Wisconsin to Miami.
I know.
That's a culture shock, right? I lived in Miami for 10 years, so.
I know, yeah, you said that. I just love Miami. Okay, you want to know what's funny? I went to Miami when I was 17 on spring break.
Oh boy.
Yeah, with my friend's dad, who was this big Miami guy. He always he's this Italian dude. He always loved to take all his daughter's friends, Miami Beach. That was his thing. And I don't know, I just remember really loving it. I was a junior in high school. There's just something about the energy of the city. It always stuck with me. It was always a thing in my mind, maybe one day I'll live there. And then, when I finally got the opportunity to get out of Wisconsin, when I left that first company, I just bought a one-way ticket. And then it was really there when I got to Miami in 2019, especially 2020 is when it really took off, the LinkedIn business.
Right on. Super cool. Yeah, I always say, unless you're from New York, Miami's a sunny place for shady people.
It is. And that was the hardest thing, being from Wisconsin. That was the hardest thing, was the people. I did have a bit of a culture shock and an adjustment to realize it's just people aren't friendly here. No one's going to hold the door open for you. No, everyone, man, is kind of out for themselves. Good to know a little bit of Spanish.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Which I'm still learning.
I asked for a burrito when I first moved to Miami, and apparently they had no idea what I was talking about. I was like,
yeah,
it's you want a wrap?
But I think that's why I like it. I like the chaos. I like the lack of predictability of just anything could pop off at any moment. What's going on?
It's always somebody's birthday.
It's just, yeah, it was it was a good spot for me. Definitely, I'd say most Wisconsin girls would not take to it well. But I have a lot of reverence for it because it was it all happened. I moved to Miami and then I blew up on LinkedIn. And then I made my first $1 million in business alone. It was
your early 20s too, right?
It was my late 20s by now. My first business I started in my early 20s. And that also was $1 million company, but I had partners and I was codependent and I felt trapped. And it's been a decade long process of entrepreneurship to break away, to really feel worthy of the money I make and like it's mine, because like there's a difference between like people say fake it till you make it. It's so funny. It's like that's actually
Act as if, yeah.
I mean, it can be really damaging though. I think that my talent carried me and my work ethic was good, but my self-esteem was not. And then to make all of this money and to have more and more social media fame and validation on the foundation of like I'm not worthy, it was really hard. So my late 20s.
Why do you think you weren't worthy?
Well, we need a longer podcast for all of that.
I'm not trying to Barbara Walters you or anything.
Just really deep wounds in my family line. Just really hard stuff that didn't get resolved, got passed down to me. I didn't actually know. It's a great question. I didn't really know. Like, why am I like this? Like, that's what led.
Because you shouldn't be.
Well, and thank you. And that makes it harder. That actually makes it harder.
Does it?
Yeah, because it's not helpful when like I feel this way and then like everyone's telling me like, oh, just don't doubt yourself, be like you should be, and then it exacerbated it. It was like now I feel on top of it. Okay, like I shouldn't feel this way, and this, oh my gosh, the levels of like
overwhelming.
Yeah, and that's why you were asking.
I can relate to that.
Exactly. Yeah.
I can relate to that. So, but you've earned it. You've had a lot of success.
Yeah.
So, tell us like how you really just started in the very beginning, experimenting, with, you were editing videos and stuff like that. And you started posting videos on LinkedIn, and then you like, where did all the hype come from?
I'll
where
tell
did the
you.
attention
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
from?
Yeah. I will tell you that. So it's a beautiful story really, because, it's now what I teach is like, it's I needed those years in the first business in Wisconsin to like learn some technical hard skills. I needed to learn, video editing, digital marketing, ads, sales, like all of that was like super important. And but it really wasn't until that came back and merged with my creative artist side, and I got on LinkedIn and started making my own videos, that I think the explosion occurred because, one, people just didn't know how to do video, didn't know how to format, edit. That was my whole business, was like how to edit videos for social media. So I knew that. I had the charisma, I had the personality. I wanted to be seen. That's a big thing too. Like I wanted to be on camera. It's much easier to grow a personal brand when you have that like extrinsic motivation, like I did, of like, I want to see myself. I want to see what people like. Okay. So not everyone has that, but that helped. But really what it is, and what I've learned over the years and what I teach today is like, I was just honest about my bullshit.
Yeah, and that's raw. People can relate to that, and that's what I really liked about binge watching so many of.
I know. I want to hear what you watched. Yeah.
I mean, like the CEO versus COO. Of like, guys, and I'll drop a link in the description as well. And subscribe, guys, too. Helps this place. And also, we shoot this here at Iron Pixel Studios in Orlando. Amazing facility. So if you guys are local, definitely check it out. But yeah, so your content, really funny stuff. I like how you work in, like sketches and acting, and it's entertaining. It's not just like, hey, I'm douchebag on LinkedIn and, buy from me, like you get so much of that fodder on LinkedIn. It drives me nuts. It's so much noise. And like me being in the big data industry for 21 years, like, yeah, it's just, there's so many people that just hit you up because they want to do business, and it's just like just noise to where you can't even keep track of it.
Oh yeah.
So like, putting that human element, that soul, I really think is your gift. So like, talk to us about that.
Yeah, I could speak to that. Yeah. Yeah. It's like you're touching on a couple things: the humor, the storytelling, what I've actually been through, the hardship, like all of these are just ways to build trust with the human. This is kind of also what I've learned over the years inadvertently, because I was just really good at connecting people. It wasn't like, it was kind of accidental, you know, like I was really young when I got on LinkedIn. I had a lot of problems. I just like needed an outlet. So I was like, I'm depressed. And I was just like oversharing. But it worked. It was like so many people came in. And I think that's one way to make a sale eventually, is like this person can just see themselves in you. And then they can see this path forward of like, I wonder what it'd be like to talk to her, to work with her, to, you know, and you beat out the next guy who's just only talking about his product, just doing like hard pitches. The humor, that's another, and I don't do those videos anymore, but I did a lot of them back then. It's like, if you can make someone laugh, you're just providing value to them. You're just like giving them a favor, you know, and then they're
stand out.
Exactly.
You stand out, you know. So you don't sound like everybody else. You don't look like everybody else. And the, you know, attention of the human these days is just the attention span of a gnat. So, you know, as people are scrolling through, you know, people's posts and feeds, you know, I heard on one of your videos, which I totally agreed with, is that all they're doing is just saying like, hey, our company's doing this today. Like,
company
hey,
updates.
Like, yeah,
that's what it is. That's what it is. I say this all the time.
It's like, who gives a shit?
90% of the LinkedIn company pages I go to, so many, and like huge pages, huge companies, corporations, they're making content for their employees and their already existing clients.
Mm-hmm.
They're not, that's the only people that their content would be relevant to. It's like, great. So you're talking about company update, company party, new hire, employee of the month. We're doing a fundraiser for Thanksgiving. Like, wow, like no one that doesn't know your company through those channels of like, they work for you, they have a family member who works for you, or they're a client, they're a long-time client. No one is going to care. Do you actually want to get serious about using LinkedIn and social media as a channel to bring in new business, as a funnel who they've never heard of you guys before? That's where the skits come in. That's where the storytelling comes in. That's where like doing something outside the box to just drive, like they're going to watch it. They're going to stop the scroll. They're going to be like, oh man, this touched my heart. This, and then they're going to go, oh, who is this business? Who is this like, anyways?
So,
you know,
so
and yeah.
Give us some examples of the before and after pictures of whenever you start working with a client. And I know you love ripping people's LinkedIn profiles apart.
I'm good at it. Yeah.
So like, you probably get off on it, right? It's just like, oh, this is terrible. It's terrible.
It's just
terrible.
easy for me. Yeah, it's fun.
So like the before and after of what they were doing versus what they're seeing now when it comes to like just people liking it, you know?
So the before, it's a lot of, yeah, this is where like, it's really just, people, people are, thinking too much about like how this is going to look to the company, how this is going to look to the brand. Sure. And that's why you see those like company updates. It's very like formal in this. Yeah. People are overthinking it. Like they're like, oh, this is how I want to present. This is how, and then it's a lot of, cheesy headlines. It's a lot of like just boring, like no one cares. Okay, great, you have a product that like everyone know. And as opposed to when I work with them, and I work with personal brands, so I don't actually really do company pages on LinkedIn. I mean, I can
brand the person.
I can audit it, but it's not like, I need a human. And then what happens is I get with the human, and usually like this is how it goes with the sales call. I'll get on a call, like the profile audit. I sent you one.
Yeah, you did.
I sent you one, like, and I'll give them some advice, like, okay, you shouldn't do this, and there's like technical things I can share, whatever. But really, I'm just like, so tell me about you. Like, where did you come from? How'd you get into this business? What's your background? And I always have the calls recorded. You know, I have Fireflies, whatever. And,
yeah, me too. I love Fireflies.
Yeah, it's the best.
I have it integrated with my system too.
But they don't realize, like on that very first call, when they're just being raw and authentic and they're introducing themselves to me, they're giving me all of their content. And I'm just over here taking notes, writing, well, Fireflies, taking the notes. Mm-hmm. But I'm like in my head thinking like, okay, that's a headline. That's a story. Oh, damn, he got fired. And then, oh, wow, the divorce. And a lot of it like maybe won't get shared because everyone has a different like level of comfortability with their own story. I happen to be very, very open and raw. Not everyone is. But the point is like by the end of the conversation, I'm like, okay, great. So, my content strategy for you, like you could talk about this, and I'm just like repeating back to them all these things that they said in the format of like storytelling on LinkedIn, and they're just like, whoa, like I would have never thought like that's what people want to hear. I was like, fuck yeah, that's what people want to hear. Exactly. Like that's you, that's interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's, you know, you got to be interesting, you got to stand out, you got to be creative, you got to be funny,
relatable,
like, relatable,
relatable.
sure.
Like, who are you, the human? But people have such a wound around it. They think like, no, I can't talk about this. I can't share this. You know, that's why I said it is easier when I get on the line with an extrovert like myself, someone who's extrinsically motivated to be kind of like, yeah, I want to be a blogger, you know, because then they're a little less insecure in those ways. Like they're kind of more ready to hit the ground running and they just want the tactics and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who's a little more reserved, hasn't like had that experience of you know, working in sales or being so super forward facing, that is a little more of a project for me to like pull it out of them.
Sure.
And,
Yeah.
but it can be
you know,
done.
there's reasons for that.
Mhm.
Because let's take something like white labeling. You know, various different platforms. You know, everybody wants it to look like it's their intellectual property. They designed it. They created it. However, why reinvent the wheel when you can white label and you can puzzle piece things? So what I like about you is you wear your heart on your sleeve and you're very transparent. You're very open, and that's productive. You know, what I think is not productive is whenever people act as if fake it till you make it, you know, and it's just like, are we really going to get anywhere that way? You know,
I did a lot of that too, though. I did do a lot of that too. You know, I think that.
Yeah, so do I. I mean, you have to balance
Here
it.
we go.
You have to
Now
balance
we go
it.
to the real stuff. Yeah, that goes to the previous.
You don't want people to go around you, obviously.
That's like
and like reverse engineer you. That's
Yeah.
definitely happened to me before. Like, so I mean,
yeah. I think you know, it comes down to faith. What is faith? What is faith to you?
faith
Yes.
to me.
Yeah, we haven't had this conversation yet.
Fear of the unknown. You know, I don't
Fear of the
know.
unknown. Faith.
Yeah.
Wouldn't faith be like the confidence in the unknown?
Oh, it should be.
I think faith is like knowing that you're going to be safe no matter what.
Sure.
And a lot of times people meet God at the tail end of this, you know, series of control that they've been exuding their whole life that just like crashes and burns and is no longer working. Like when they finally have to relinquish control, when something happens where they're forced to kind of like throw their hands up and submit to a higher power, like, okay, like I there's something I don't know here. Things actually often start to flip for them and things really start working out. And
I think, you know, I think the word is hope. You know, like if people have hope, you know, I think that correlates a lot with faith, and that empowers people to keep going. Just
I do think
personal
faith's similar.
experience. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, tell me about that.
So,
What's your
you know,
experience?
if you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, or if you believe it's there, that's faith, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like it's extremely difficult, as you know, as someone who's owned businesses, you wear a lot of hats. It's very stressful. It's not like, oh, I don't have a boss anymore, I'm just gonna be a business owner. Like, no, now, like, it's all on you. And it is hard. And people don't talk about that. They're just like, no, it's perfect. Like, how's your business doing? Oh, it's great. You know, but like a lot of
That's what
times
I'm saying,
there's a
yeah.
lot of stress. There's a lot of stress and
Right.
a lot that you have to, you know, carry on your shoulders. So like what's been your experience with the painful parts of, like, I know you worked with VCs, the vulture capitalists of the world, as I
Yeah.
call them.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys. And like, luckily I never went that route. I'm a bootstrapper. But definitely
good.
had some investors, and you know, some worked out, some didn't. So I'm just curious to hear your story about, like, what's been the
Yeah.
most difficult as a business owner. Tell your story on that.
Yeah.
Like, call out the people that are your haters now.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then-
the
and then you
haters.
be the
yeah.
hater.
Yeah, but that's what's funny. You know, I don't feel like I have any. I know I do. Like, I know objectively they exist, but
I was jealous.
yeah, I just really don't focus on it. Like, I can't. There's no space for it. And yeah, I think that, like, you know, what I was really wanting to share when you were sharing that about, you know, everyone wants to talk about like the highlight reel of being an entrepreneur and, oh, it's great and all of this, but like really it's very, very challenging. It's a painful process, like what I went through with my VCs and everything. Oh, I feel it in my body right now. Like the memories. It was so painful, like worst breakup ever. But this is exactly what I'm saying. People don't have faith, that they think exposing those parts of themselves, the weaknesses that they have in business, is going to turn off business. It's the opposite. That's why I always say it's the opposite. I have exposed so many of my flaws and my shortcomings, and yes, I'm sure I have turned off business. I'm sure I've gotten haters from it, but I don't care, because I have faith that, like, honesty, what's the saying? The truth will set you free.
Sure.
Like, the truth will set you free. So I'm just like, I can't harbor it. Like, this is in me to share. This is what's on my heart. And then more people relate to it, and that's actually, they want to buy with you. You attract what you are.
It's trust, it's honesty, it's transparency. Which
Yeah.
I'm a huge.
So I'm glad you brought that up. Like, that's exactly the point. People don't want to share the losing in business.
People don't want to be bullshit.
I truly think, back to the fake it to make it, and just being real, raw, and vulnerable, like I suggest in this moment now. And I took a few years off from like really working to get to this point of having the contrast, to be able to like put myself in the same environments, do sales calls again, scale the agency again, and see the difference of like what I was then and after basically like 2 years off healing. Like, okay, I see what I was doing. It was like I wasn't really in the room, and I didn't really know business.
Sure.
Like, I just was faking it. My talent carried me. I knew video, I knew editing, I knew social media. I didn't really know a lot of the things that a lot of people on LinkedIn know.
You're self-taught.
Well,
right?
yeah, but I had a lot of dissociation. I couldn't really be in the room and learn, because I was so focused on other things going on in my mind at the time, that it was like I just started blowing up. Suddenly I'm like in the room with the Cardone. Suddenly I'm like working with Lewis Howes. I was in his like community group, and then the Dan Locke show, Brad Lee, all these, like, it was so much pressure. I was 28 years old, and like I just it was like I didn't figure out how to be okay asking stupid questions. I didn't figure out how to be okay with like, hey, I'm not as smart as these people. I'm not on the same level business wise as them, but I'm suddenly thrown in the room. And what it did was it like created this, it was like too late. I felt like it was too late, and I just had to like keep up with this facade, and I felt very inferior. Took a bunch of time off, going backwards now, and now it's funny because I'm talking to these really smart people on LinkedIn, all these business owners, same demographic I spoke to years ago, but I'm in the room and I'm like, okay, what's that? Like, what do you mean by that? I don't actually know what that is. Like, and I'm not afraid to look stupid anymore.
You're getting to the point and you're getting the job done, right?
Well, no, I'm not afraid to look stupid anymore. I was really afraid to look stupid. That's why I was like, I was leveraging the whole LinkedIn brand. What is LinkedIn? It's a bunch of business owners. Okay, so I have to like put on the hat and play the role of being a business owner. I was a business owner, technically. Yeah, I'd been in business for years, but I never really like learned it. I feel like I'm really now just learning business, finances, like budgeting, like how to actually read a P&L. Like,
sure.
Do you know what it's like being in your late 20s, living in Miami, making millions of dollars, and you don't even know how to read a P&L?
Yeah.
Like, that was my situation. So, but I did.
What's a balance sheet?
Yeah, dude, let's just have another house party, go to the beach. Like, it was.
Money's coming in. It's fine.
It was crazy. I would literally wake up. I outsourced everything. I remember I would wake up, go to my laptop, open up my Gmail, and it would just be like an email from Stripe, like 25,000. And I would just be like, what? Like, how am I doing this? But I didn't feel. That was the problem. I didn't.
Good at making the money, you just weren't good at counting it.
I wasn't good at counting it. I didn't. I didn't feel worthy. So it was like the more I made, the more I was just like, gosh, I gotta. So I kind of like broke it all down to rebuild it. Now it's funny because now when I get those emails, I'm like, I did that. Like, that was me.
That's
but it took a
awesome.
long time to get there.
It's a good feeling. So after the hiatus, and now, like, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure, like, all your followers, how many followers do you have now?
600,000.
I mean,
Yeah.
come on,
Oh,
that's
thank you.
amazing.
Yeah, it's
So,
been great.
like, they've got to be super excited to see you coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So what do the next Shay Days look like? Like, what do you want to do? How do you want to do it? How would you do it differently?
Yeah.
Um,
I know.
and I have selfish reasons to ask that question.
I don't know. I'm still figuring it out. I think there's like an expression, not that I'm trying to say I'm enlightened, but just I like this expression for this situation is like before enlightenment, what is it, like pick up sticks, carry water. After enlightenment, pick up sticks, carry water. It's like you think that after this like massive quantum healing, you're gonna like suddenly transcend and be in this whole different career zone and like all that, but it's like you go back to doing the same work,
Sure.
just with a much different energy. And that's like where I find myself today is I thought I might never even do this again. I thought I might not come back. Now I'm kind of like, okay, I do want to go back. I see that I have a real skill set here. It's valued. I feel more valuable and worthy of it all now. I learned the mistakes. Let's go do it again, but with more intention. And then where is the money going to go? I think that's also where my problem was. I didn't really have a plan to fund my other projects with the marketing and LinkedIn business. And now I'm like, oh, yeah, is it my absolute like highest calling and what I plan to do the rest of my life, build personal brands on LinkedIn? No. And I have faith in sharing that
Sure.
like I can be honest and people will still buy from me. It's okay. Like this is not my highest calling. I'm good at it. I can do it. I can help you just like I helped you with your profile, right?
Yeah.
But I'm an artist.
And thank you for that, by the way.
You're welcome. Yeah. I'm an artist who got, bullied a lot for that as a child. And it left such an imprint that I now at 32 years old, I'm still healing, having to unpack. I've weirdly enough, this is the power of like the artist. It'll always come back as like, even the LinkedIn business, you could argue it's the artistry coming through in a more safe channel of like, okay, I'm vulnerable or not really vulnerable, like a painting, a song, a dance, like my raw unleashed self on stage. I'm not there yet, but I do intend to go there. And I see now that this opportunity I have to leverage everything I built on LinkedIn and help people can now fund that. And I'm just planting seeds, like actually starting to like, have those serious conversations with myself.
What I admire a lot is, you're very humble, and you mentioned like almost an insecurity that you didn't deserve it. When I've experienced with various people throughout my career that I've worked with, ego is so ugly, and entitlement, and you do get jaded after doing the same thing for so many years, to where you come back and you start treating deals a little bit differently. It's just like,
better,
oh my
you mean?
God, like,
or worse,
or
you're
it's
saying?
just like,
You get jaded.
I can't believe I still have to do this. Like, shouldn't somebody else be doing this? Like this, like below my pay grade or what? Like that. I mean, it's such an ugly thing, but you're holding true to
No, that's true. That's true. I kind of like skipped steps and I kind of like jumped the ladder and was like, when you blow up like on social media and you're like suddenly surrounded with like celebrities and people, then everyone wants to work for you. So I was able to outsource. Sure. I was able to outsource.
So street cred.
Yeah, like I was able to outsource very quickly. Like I remember the moment I hired my COO when I was I just turned 27. It was like I left the first business. I was starting this on my own, and I was getting a lot of people who wanted to work with me, and I could not handle it. And I remember the moment I called my life coach crying. I was like, I can't run my business.
Everybody's getting like 5% of you versus 100% of like, what they're paying you for.
No, but this was like right in the beginning. This was right when I first started to blow up on LinkedIn, and my life coach said, I know a woman she's trying to get out of her job. She's like an operations like person. Like she would love to work for you. Like hire her. She'll just run your whole company.
Yeah, and that's when you probably started to learn delegation, which is
I was a great delegator, but that's
yeah.
the thing. I delegated to a fault. Like I delegated literally everything: sales, managing the staff, coaching the clients, even on how to be a personal brand. I mean, it was like so much. So I didn't feel like it was mine. I was just a circus animal. And I went all in on my videos because that was what I felt most comfortable doing. I was super creative and talented, but I didn't feel like a business person. I was just the talent. And then what happened was, because I created this machine and I had like a 50K a month burn rate, I had to keep, and then my team would come to me like, we need a viral video. We need a skit. And then it was like, oh, and then I just, that's what really led to the demise of it all. Like there's a number of things, but like, I was like, I got to break all this down. And then I love what you said about like coming back and being like, I basically fired everyone, cut everything down, went to 8 countries, traveled, was like, well, whatever, I'm just taking a break from all this. And then now I'm back and I don't have a salesperson. I don't have a coach. I don't have, well, I actually do have a COO. She's awesome, but someone else has, and it's, a lot of those people are gone. I have a small team and I'm doing a lot myself, to the point where I got on a sales call the other day and the guy was like, why are you on this call? And I was like, this is so funny, the humility, like that energy you talk, where you're like, the energy of like, oh, I like can't believe I'm doing that. Like, can you imagine if I was like in that energy, how like triggered I would feel by his comment? Because I'd be like, I know. And like, there's a little bit of that's there, but mostly what's there is just this like incredible gratitude for not having shame about it. Yeah. To just finally be like, yeah, no, I know. I maybe like it appears on the outside that I wouldn't be the one taking these calls, but humility, like, nope, it's just me now, and I'm doing all the coaching, all the finance, all the, and it's given me. Wait, let me. But sure, this is the point I want to land. It's given me the self-esteem that I was missing before. I needed to do it myself. I won't be doing the sales calls forever. I know that, but the humility to actually like, okay, I can talk to the clients. I can do the sales calls. I can manage my books. I can manage my own employees. It was like, I just now see like, and I wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is exactly why I had to do all this. Now I feel worthy. And now I can go make millions of dollars and feel worthy of it. Yeah. And invest it.
What a great feeling. This very empowering, just to know that, you have all that ability inside yourself, and you could just pull money out of your ass, and now it feels like I can. It's a powerful feeling.
Yeah, I think there was something to be said too from, I think a lot of entrepreneurs have this too. It's like where you're always afraid you're gonna lose it.
Sure. Yeah.
Like people are so like they make and then there was a lot of that energy there too. Like I made all this, I had this big house, this staff, this rent, all that. Like it was like, now I'm like, I can't lose it.
Absolutely. I mean, like in sales, you're taught, you can pitch gain or you can pitch loss,
What do you mean by that?
So I'll give you an example.
Yeah, please.
So like people are afraid of losing what they already have. Versus like somebody pitching like, hey, if you buy this product, then you're going to have this life, or like people are like, if you don't buy this product, then if you don't buy my Kirby vacuum cleaner, then and like get like all this dirt in your carpet, your kids are gonna die.
You're gonna miss out on. Yeah.
Fear versus
gain.
So that's a strategy. It's a sales tactic, but I could totally relate to what you're saying, is what I'm saying.
But how is that relevant to what I just shared?
I don't know.
No, it's a good point, though. Yeah, I know all about the fear gain. But is that the way? This is also a really good conversation. This is what I sit and I ponder with myself under the stars with all my, like, just spiritual interests and like, what is God, where are we going, new earth, business, the money, it's just nothing, it's just numbers on a screen, it's not backed by anything anymore. Okay, where are we going? Like, what's the point of all this really? The faith, coming back to like, we do motivate people through fear, and I still do it. Like, it's like, and that's even something I struggle with. Like, should I unlearn this? Like, there's something energetically with the way that we've done business and that is going to be really interesting to see where that goes the next decade, 2 decades, 50 years from now. I don't think we're going to be teaching people like to sell that way. Because
Yeah,
the
no, I agree with
human
that.
consciousness will
So-
not respond to the
so,
fear
like,
anymore.
so-
It's gonna be weird, right?
So what I'm excited about,
Tell me
with,
what you're excited about. I'm excited.
you,
I'm excited to
like,
be here. This is fun,
oh,
you
no,
guys.
it's such a pleasure, such a pleasure. No, like, I'm really excited that all of a sudden, Shay Rowbottom's in my backyard in Orlando.
Literally, I
And-
am back in Orlando. Yeah.
And so, like, you have that human, that creative, that content, that storytelling, like that branding of a human, and like, what my company does is, with LinkedIn, I've done a lot with LinkedIn, a lot of happy clients with LinkedIn on the lead generation side, but, direct outreach, follow up, the psychology of the sale, always leaving with a question mark to prompt the human brain to respond, and just making sure the cadence is right, making sure it's not tacky, it's not spammy, because damn, is there a lot of freaking spam.
Yeah, you're
on
great.
LinkedIn.
You're great at that. I've been very impressed with that. What you do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
So, like, I know what annoys me, and like, I do stand-up comedy, and like,
I didn't know that.
when you write comedy,
What?
you come up with jokes by paying attention to shit that just annoys you, and it's just like, you know what? I bet people can relate to that.
Yeah.
So like, when that really creates opportunities in business, like if you want to be innovative, you need to pay attention to the problems. Like, laundry sucks. I hate folding laundry. Like, so that's when, now we got robots that are coming out that can fold laundry. It's like,
Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, it's just, that's where true, like, innovation comes from.
Yeah.
And, people like Elon Musk pay attention to that. Like, how can I make this better? Like, everything annoys him, I feel like, So, I don't know. What's your take on that?
Yeah. Well, I was more gonna go into what you do with the outreach. Back to the LinkedIn, like, because this is something I also do, and you and I connected over this when we met. Is like, that strategy on LinkedIn really works well when the person is also branding themselves.
100%.
That's exactly what.
So and thank you for bringing it back to earth, because I went on a little tangent there. But
I liked it. I agree with what you said too, and I'm also curious about your comedy. I didn't know it is.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Like, whenever a client comes to me, I'm like, okay, do you have a LinkedIn profile? All right, great. Looks like shit, but okay.
Yeah, they do. They all look like shit. That's the thing. 95% of them look like shit.
And I'm like, all right, cool. So, you've got this many people that are followers, connections, or whatever. And what we do is, we craft a sequence of different messages. We do market research to find out, like, let's say it's like a exclusive private membership club. So let's take like Invited Clubs as an example. It used to be Club Corp. They have membership directors, and they need to prospect people to join as members. So we've had a lot of success in that space, and that's really where we started to productize what we were selfishly doing for ourselves in-house.
I love that.
We rolled out InView Pulse, because we're like, it works for us. And I joined the Sisters Club downtown Orlando.
Yeah.
And
I'm a member now.
Yeah, you're an honorary member too.
Oh,
So, like, I asked the membership director at the time, I was like, how are you prospecting new members to join the club? And it sounded so painful. I felt so bad for her. She's like, well, we have some people that, just kind of door knock around the, skyscrapers around here. And I'm like, that sounds terrible. In hot, sunny Florida in a suit, you're not like door knocking, or you're Googling CEOs and trying to get past gatekeepers just to invite them in for a tour of the club.
No.
I was like, let me mess around with your LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So
you
I did that. Oh yeah. We quadrupled their new member sign up rate in a very short amount of time. So it's really a process of just things that I've learned in sales that, okay, what do I do? The first thing I do is I find the right prospect. That's the data model, the target audience. Like, who am I going after? So you got executive titles on like LinkedIn Sales Navigator. You've got industry, geography. You've got company headcount. So I go in and I find the perfect model, the perfect prospect. And that's really where I stand out, just with my data career, is finding the right people, But it's one thing to have the data, the audience as the fuel, but you also need a vehicle, a platform to deliver it so that it's low maintenance on the client, because people don't have time, especially if you're a membership director at an exclusive club, to when you're really supposed to be walking around and schmoozing and showing the existing members a good time, shaking hands, kissing babies, whatever. You need to have something that is a system, and that's where I love marrying data with technology and with your human content and optimization. I think you're the missing puzzle piece, and that's why I'm excited.
That's what I was gonna say. Well, that's what I was gonna say. It's so funny. Like I've done a lot of what you do, but I stopped most of it when I realized, or I would say when I kind of always knew. I would say it was more like I stopped it when I had the strength to believe that I could just make money on the side of my business that was actually like enjoyable to me, which was the personal branding and the storytelling. It was like I was stuck in this belief system that like I have to guarantee ROI, or I have to build systems, or it has to be very like methodical, and it's more of like a masculine energy, like, which is so needed, and I so respect what you do. Like, you're so good at it. Like, I would not ever be able to sit there and figure out everything that you did with like the AI and the messaging, and like people do want direct to sales, but I think I shot myself in the foot many years saying I could do that for people. Even though I did for a lot of my clients, it was like the pressure. And then I started to attract people that like needed leads. And it was like this energy of like, get me business. And it's just like, and like, I always took it as like, I'm not good enough. And I always took it as like, okay, I need better systems. I need to figure out, okay, I'm not. And then I finally just like, no, but that's the problem, was like, wait a minute. No, this isn't about me not being good enough. I'm just not good at this. This is a trait for people like Nate, you know?
I love that you said that, because for me, I want to know exactly how good I am. I want the transparency,
the analytics,
to my the KPIs, key performance indicators. I want to
know
exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
How good I am.
That was where I was killing myself. I was trying to pretend like I could do it all, and it was killing me. And now, this we should title this podcast "Faith." I'm gonna keep coming back to faith, faith, because now I just have faith. I just got strong in my healing of saying like, no, I can't guarantee you ROI. I build brand. That's what this is. It's a long-term investment. I'll teach you how to copyright. I'll teach you storytelling. I'll teach you, how to cast a net wide and just make a splash and get more.
There's plenty of value in just that.
Exactly. And that's the healing.
That's
it's
just
like
managing
knowing
expectations, of like what they're paying for.
But I do think that it's for the wounded soul, they won't be strong enough to feel like they can just sell what it is they're truly passionate about, and what it is they're even just good at, because they have this like limiting belief that it's not enough.
Wow. So Elvis Presley, right?
Yeah,
I'm a huge Elvis fan. It was so sad, like the end of his life, that he felt like he did nothing.
Did he?
And he did
I didn't know that.
so much.
Really?
He's Elvis Presley,
I don't know that he felt like he did nothing, really.
No, and
tell me about it. I don't know what's really about him.
My mom actually pointed that out to me, and I started noticing. I was like, yeah, he never felt like he was good enough.
It makes sense. It's common. It's the same for all these geniuses, like these people that are just so talented. They're so great. Like, Whitney Houston, like smoked cigarettes, and she had the best voice in the world. She was smoking cigarettes. Like, it's just like, what? Like, why would you do that? But it's like,
amongst other things.
But it is. It is. I relate to these stories a lot. I do. Like, not seeing yourself accurately. I'm starting to, and it'll be an ongoing healing journey for me, but it's like not seeing yourself accurately. Like, you know what I even do? You'll like this. This is what I do now. This is a personal development like exercise. It's like at the end of the day, I go through everything I did that day that I'm proud of myself for.
Sure.
Everything. I'm like, what did I do today? Oh my gosh. I woke up, I went to yoga today. I got my grocery shopping done. I did my laundry. I sold 2 new clients. I had a great group call with my community. I posted on my LinkedIn blog for my followers. I went to the gym, and like sometimes I'm like done and I'm like, holy shit, I am like an elite person. But I need that, because in my head all day is just this negative, you're not enough, you didn't, oh, you could have done 1 more rep, you could have lifted heavier, you could have, like, and it's like,
Sure.
when I really break it down at the end of the day, I'm like, I am doing shit that probably like 1% of the population is doing in a day, like the productivity wise, and like but not seeing yourself accurately, that's the problem. And I think that's also what drives a lot of people.
I forget,
yeah.
there's a poet, I forget the name of the poet, but I'll look it up and I'll drop the link, but it talks about like to see yourself as others see you. And I think, that self-doubt is just like in people's heads, a lot of times, because like you've accomplished so much.
That's what I'm saying. It's so built into me to hate myself. It's like a to-do list thing. I have to physically go write down everything you did today you feel good about, and like,
right,
I'm making progress here. I'm parenting myself,
right.
Nate. I'm reparenting myself.
So Shay Rowbottom, like, how many times have you been like on Forbes magazine?
5 times in Forbes.
And you didn't like
never paid for Forbes. Never paid for any of that. I was an entrepreneur.
So that's kind of cool, right?
I know.
And then
isn't
like
that crazy?
CNN and entrepreneur, like,
everything.
I mean, come on.
I know.
Like, I mean, I would feel like a boss bitch if I were you.
I know. But awesome. I did feel good about all that. It's just no, it wasn't enough. That was the thing. I think that's where I created this whole LinkedIn brand, the fame, the money, all the, like, I milked it so much, and I was like, yeah, now I'm in CNN. Yeah, I'm a great manifester. Like, I was manifesting all these things, and then it still wasn't enough. That's when the real healing occurred, was when I was like, okay, I've been in Forbes, I made millions of dollars, I've done that. Like, why am I still like like there's something deeper,
Yeah. And so guys, like, the reason why this is so important is she's so relatable, she's so human, she's a storyteller, and that is what grabs people's attention whenever they're just looking at people pitching them all day long on LinkedIn. So I really think that's magic, and that's a talent that you have, it's a gift that you have. So that's why I'm excited to work with you, because I'm tech, AI, automation, data, and
exactly.
I think we'll complement each other very well in that space. So I have one final question for you. What drives you?
What drives me? It's probably a new answer, right? What drove me so much was I had to prove something to myself, to others. Like, I had to like prove like that I'm enough, that I'm worthy, that I'm successful. And I think I'm on the other side of that. It's still there a little, this kind of like almost like a vengeance energy of like, this is like what entrepreneurs are a lot of times.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like, when you ask me now what drives me, I think what drives me now is just the genuine desire to be happy and at peace.
Sure.
Like, genuinely
free.
What do I need to just feel present, enough, satisfied? I am still a bit of a glutton, I won't lie. But like, like, just the more, not removing, like, okay,
how so? How are you a glutton? Come on.
Everything.
You can't say that.
I love it. I'm a very like pleasure seeking. You said Enneagram before.
Yeah.
I'm a 7. We tend to be very like
3-7. That's me.
You're a 7 too? Oh, yeah.
No,
so but
if you guys don't know what the Enneagram is,
Enneagram's great.
Enneagram's sort of similar to like Myers-Briggs personality test. So we used to make employees take that test to find out through data which personality types we should hire for certain positions. So
it's an amazing test. Amazing. I love Enneagram. I love all personalities that I recommend. But yeah, I think it's just the coming off of the drive of being driven through the eyes of others. How are others going to perceive me? That's what's driving me, versus I'm driven now by how I want to see me. Like, what do I actually want? And there's lots of filters that got formed in this woman here, but I'm breaking them down. I'm learning how to not like be such a slave to my filters. And I'm also creating new filters where the new filter is like, okay, stop and ask yourself, why are you actually doing this? Is it for some sort of outside validation or, motivation of how others are going to see you from the outside in? Or is this a genuine thing you want to do? If no one was watching, no one was left on this earth but you, Shay, would you be doing this? Now that's what drives me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%. Yeah, like people ask me what drives me, and I say, I have no idea. I'm just driven. I'm just wired like a crazy person. I don't know. Like, just go. Like, I just,
Yeah, I
can't
wonder
help
what
it.
I wonder what does drive you to do all this with
I have
this,
no idea.
the AI and the systems
I
and
have no
figuring out.
idea.
It's like it's conquest. You're like just trying to conquer
I
it.
don't
Like,
know. I have no idea.
yeah.
I'm driven, and I say yes to way too many things.
Oh,
And I need to
that you
stop
gotta
doing
stop.
that.
That you gotta stop.
I
Yeah,
do
that's
that
what
way
I
too
did.
much.
No, I say no quite a bit now. But I said yes today to this. And I'm so glad I did.
Oh, I'm
Thank
so
you for
glad you
having
did
me.
too. Absolutely. No,
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's just your soulful storytelling, I think, is huge. And that's supercharged by cutting edge technology that I'm obsessed with. Like every single morning, like Matt Wolf, shout out, dude. I watch your channel all the time. That guy is amazing. Keeping people up to date with like the coolest things that are coming out in AI and technology. He's got a whole directory on it, futuretools.io. I'll drop that link too. But I think our combined forces, your human, soulful, creative talent element with the tech side that I'm obsessed with, I think we could probably be the most powerful LinkedIn company combination in the world out of Orlando.
So. I think
Let's do
so. Yeah, your clients, I said this to you when we met. If they need any help, if they're interested in also adding content to
all
their,
of them will be.
Yeah.
All of them will
Okay.
be.
Yeah, I could help a lot with that.
All of, like it's something that I notice in the key performance indicators is just I see someone that I'm really running the same exact campaign for, and one is crushing it and the other isn't.
The one
and
has
then
content.
And then I look at their profile,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's why.
Yeah, the content. Yeah, if people know you already, man, those outbound. I do outbound.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm an extreme case because like I'm very well known on LinkedIn, but it makes a difference. You know how easy it is to like people open the message, they read the message, they reply, they're like, yeah, I want to work with you, get on a call, because they've seen my content, they've seen my story, they trust me. So, there's definitely something to be said for like that whole cold outreach on LinkedIn strategy, like even with the best of the best, which Nate has obviously, but I'm saying like it'll be more effective when people are like, oh, I've already seen this guy before, I know him. Yeah,
absolutely. Familiarity.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, Shay, I can't thank you enough for being here. It's been such a pleasure talking to you and getting to know your world and your life a little bit better. So I'm so excited that you're in Orlando, and guys, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Nate.
Thank you.